Long before this story reaches its climax, the cosmos was held hostage by a single tyrant. His name was Hiranyakashipu, an asura king who subjected himself to terrible austerities, severe, agonizing spiritual practices designed to extract absolute power from the gods. His goal was to conquer the rules of death. He wrung a boon from Brahma that targeted every possible avenue of destruction. He could not be killed by a man, a beast, or a god. He could not die during the day or at night. He was immune indoors and outdoors. He could not be slain on the earth or in the sky. And finally, no weapon known to creation could harm him. Armed with this impossible shield, the king declared himself the supreme being. He took the throne of the universe and strictly outlawed the name of God. To speak of Vishnu was to invite immediate execution. Yet, in the center of this dark palace, a single anomaly appeared. The tyrant's own 5-year-old son, Prahlad, openly defied the ban. He sat quietly in his father's halls, continuously chanting the name of Vishnu. The most powerful force in the material universe now faced a war he hadn't prepared for, a conflict with a small child who possessed nothing but faith. Prahlad's devotion began in the womb. While he was still unborn, the sage Narada sheltered his mother, speaking daily of the Lord's glory. The mother's mind was too restless to hold the teaching, but the child drank Narada's words the way roots drink rain. Hiranyakashipu tried to break this influence by sending the boy to an elite gurukul. There, the sons of the great asura preceptor were tasked with turning Prahlad into a worthy heir, instructing him in statecraft, diplomacy, and the cold logic of power. But the moment the teachers turned their backs, the classroom dissolved. Prahlad didn't recite political theory. He led his classmates in kirtan. The sons of asura lords, born into households of darkness, sat cross-legged and sang the name of the Lord with tears of joy. Devotion acts as an innate frequency. Once the name is spoken, it resonates with everything in the environment, proving impossible to suppress with traditional discipline. Faced with a son who refused his ideology, Hiranyakashipu began a campaign to physically destroy him. He started with gravity. Soldiers carried the 5-year-old to the highest peak and hurled him into the void. The earth received him as gently as a mother laying a child down to sleep. When they threw him into the ocean, the water refused to drown him. He sank into the dark depths, his lips still moving with the chant. Venomous serpents raised their hoods and then laid their heads at his feet. Mad war elephants stopped their charge and bowed. When they mixed deadly poison into his food, it became nectar in the body of a child whose every cell was saturated with the Lord's name. Finally, they turned to fire. The king's sister, Holika, sat in a blazing pyre with Prahlad on her lap, protected by a fire-immune garment. But the flames knew whom to spare. The garment abandoned its mistress and wrapped itself around the boy, leaving Holika to the inferno. Prahlad maintained a state of ashta prahar, continuous chanting across all 8 watches of the day and night. Where the name of God is fully present, destruction has no entry point. Hiranyakashipu's patience reached its end. He drew his sword and demanded to know where this invisible protector was hiding. "Show him to me," he roared. Prahlad's voice held a quiet certainty. He explained that God is in the water, the fire, the earth, and the sky. When the king mockingly pointed to a nearby stone pillar, the boy answered, without any doubt, "He is there." The father struck the stone with his fist. A sound erupted that shook the 3 worlds as the pillar violently split open. From the wreckage emerged Narasimha. This form was neither man nor beast, but a terrifying half-lion avatar. Every condition of the king's invincibility was now under threat from a divine intelligence that operated outside of known logic. It was twilight, neither day nor night. At the threshold of the palace, neither inside nor outside, Narasimha seized the king. He placed him across his lap, neither earth nor sky, and with claws that were not forged weapons, he tore the tyrant apart. The fabric of the material world was pulled apart because a child had said God was there. The Lord manifested in an impossible form simply to ensure his devotees' word remained true. Even after the tyrant fell, Narasimha's cosmic wrath continued to blaze. His fury shook the universe, threatening to dissolve creation itself. Brahma, Shiva, and the assembled gods stood at a distance, paralyzed by fear. Their hymns of praise could not reach or soften that divine anger. Then Prahlad walked forward. Without a trace of fear, the 5-year-old placed his hand upon that magnificent, blazing face. The roar subsided into silence. This is the state of Bhaktivatsal. The Lord, whose fury could not be approached by the creators of the universe, became as quiet as a sleeping river at the touch of a devotee's hand. Tender with love, Narasimha offered Prahlad any boon he desired. The child asked for nothing for himself. He prayed for his father's purification and for an unbroken, continuous current of devotion that would never diminish. Prahlad's story reveals that where faith calls the named one must answer. The body may face the cliff, the ocean, or the fire, but the name remains untouched, even inside a pillar of stone.